we started talking about what can we do in the sandbox from a weapons perspective. And so overall, we have reduced the number of weapons that we have from Halo 3, and that is definitely intentional.
Right.
And that obviously doesn't mean that we don't have new stuff, but it means that we want particular weapons to have a role or a reason for existence, right? And so we don't want to duplicate, well, here's a sniper rifle, and here's sniper rifle A, and here's sniper rifle B, and they're essentially, from their role, exactly the same, right? It's not interesting. So we want weapons to have a specific role in the sandbox, that this particular weapon should be effective in this combat role, right? And then it's sort of your job to, if you decide to use a particular weapon, to then maneuver the fights or the combat into a position where you have an advantage, right? So obviously, the easiest examples of that are the really long and really short range weapons, being the sniper rifle or the shotgun or the sword or something, right? And then filling in the slots in between there, and then adding some spice with some of the newer weapons that we're adding. So.
Yeah, I think one of which Eric mentioned earlier that we've already shown and talked a little bit about is the DMR, Designated Marksman Rifle.
Right.
I think the kids are calling it the new BR. I think it's pretty much that same weapon. Is it the same thing as the BR? Is it?
It is similar. It fills that role between, say, the assault rifle and the really long range sniper rifle. So it is the sort of medium range pinging snipers, headshot sort of skill based weapon. We have gone to a single, more powerful shot, so rewarding skill even more. From, you don't get the free headshot from the, just sort of aim center mass from the BR, and you get the pull up to the headshot. So,
and maybe talk to us about the pistol just for a minute. There's mention of it. There's a lot of speculation. Is it the Halo 1 pistol? Is it not the Halo 1 pistol? Is it the ODST pistol?
Which letter is affixed at the
end?
Is
it the Magnum from Halo 3? I mean,
what
should people come to expect when they get to play this in the spring on our beta?
I see. So, I mean, the problem, of course, is that everyone has their own opinion about what the Halo 1 pistol is, right? A lot of people will say that's the great equalizer, right? Certainly, it should be a viable weapon, right? We don't want to have something that we give you that is useless. But I also don't think that the pistol as it currently stands is on a caliber with, say, the DMR or some of the more powerful weapons. But it is certainly viable as a combat tool against other opponents with other weapons. Now, again, it depends on where you are, right? So, yes, if you can keep the guy with a shotgun at bay, if you have a drop on the guy with the AR, then you're going to win. It is, I would say, it falls somewhere between the Halo 1 super pistol, which I don't know if anyone's ever talked about that being a bug or not.
Yeah, I mean, we have. I don't know how much people have maybe heard that over the years, but
there's conflicting stories about it.
Yeah, Griesemer will say one thing.
There's like the Griesemer version, there's the Jones version, there's like...
I think Griesemer will say that it was just last minute. Somebody tweaked the
probably
code
the dude
a
who
little
works
bit.
in Microsoft said something
as it was
everyone has it's a myth now.
So the story that I heard was that it was like a last minute change made on the campaign side that had sort of unintended multiplayer.
Correct. They doubled
effects.
the damage at the last minute. But it made it super popular, and that's fine. I mean, it is. I will say that it is going to have zoom, and it is going to be a headshot weapon, and it is relatively powerful, right? Now, is it going to have pinpoint accuracy like the ODST pistol? No, currently it doesn't. So you're going to have to take your time between shots, right? You don't have quite as much rapid fire, very dead on shots.
You're going to have to apply a little bit of skill when you use it.
You are going to have to apply some skill.
It's not a spray weapon. It's,
right. And one of the things that we are doing in Reach, which I assume we can talk about, but Bungie's always done this, and they've always had some sort of spread on their weapons, but they aren't really communicating that to the players exactly what the spread of the bullets currently are. So we're working on communicating that through the HUD, through sort of standard mechanics, to show you okay, you're very accurate now. Oh, you fired 3 shots in rapid succession. You've blown out. Right. You're going to have to wait a half second or a quarter of a second or something to return.
Yeah, you actually, I think you did demo that, even though the magazines didn't, they only have so much room to talk about stuff, right? But if I recall, the reticle actually does sort of expand and shrink.
Kind of have a second
to let you know.
layer to the reticle that gives you the idea, that conveys it really easily that you're not accurate now. You kind of have this.
I mean, we still have this sort of the general, Halo's always done this, that sort of the smaller the reticle, the more accurate it indicates the weapon is, and the larger it is, the sort of less accurate or the shorter range it is. So the shotgun being huge and the sniper rifle being tiny. But yeah, I mean the DMR has that, so you can fire the weapon faster than perhaps you should at some range. But if the guy's right on top of you, that also means that you can get off more shots into the body, right? But if you're trying to get multiple headshots, then you have a slight delay. I don't know. I mean, it's received really, really well thus far. I mean, everybody here at the studio is very happy with.
It adds another layer of skill to using the weapon. Not only do you have to keep the target, painted, but you also have to pull the trigger in the correct rhythm. You have to know when your shots are accurate.
Right.
I think another thing I just remember that you also showed our media friends when they were here that I don't think anyone mentioned, probably because they just don't consider it cool, but it's a subtle, cool thing that I thought is when you added the weapon sway back in now, when you are strafing left and right. Which I believe was a feature from Halo CE, but just somehow disappeared for Halo 2, 3, and ODST.
Lost technology. We've recovered.
Has to do with Spartan 3s.
Yeah. It just gives a little bit more motion to the first-person experience, and makes the gun feel a little bit less static on screen, and has no effect on accuracy. Right.
The reticle's still center screen. It's not pulling that around or anything.
Center-ish.
Right.
Right. I mean, well, Halo 3 did that. They dropped it a little bit. Right. It's not exactly centered on the screen, but.
So I think there's one other sort of primary weapon that we revealed thus far. That was the needle rifle. Which I guess I would probably describe it as a mix between a needler and a carbine. I don't know.
It is. It is the sort of the equivalent on the Covenant side of the DMR, right? So it is their sort of medium range repression rifle, if you will, long range headshot. So as with all the Blamite weapons, it does super combine. I guess let's see a couple of things. It can fire a single shot if you're pulling the trigger one at a time. It can also rapid fire, but then of course your accuracy blows out. Not quite as fast as the Needler. That would be pretty awesome. Probably too awesome. One thing that we have changed is that needles do not combine on shields. So you have to take shields down first. The needles are very effective at taking down shields, but you have to get 3 rounds in the body in order to super combine with the rifle, or one headshot. Right.
Yeah, I actually thought that was an error in the GI articles. It said 3 to super combine. I was like, I don't remember 3. That seems pretty fast, but it makes sense if it's after shielding.
Shields.
Yeah,
correct.
Because 3, you can fire that sucker. People would be dying like crazy.
Right.
I think it actually, one of the other articles picked it up again and said, like, 1 trigger pull would kill 3 players or some crazy kind of stuff.
Only if I'm wielding it.
It's pretty awesome. Maybe they meant the Halo 3 beta carbine.
It's like a telephone game out there. Yeah.
That's if they're at the perfect angle and you ricochet around.